back again with plant sessions. How are ya? This is our plant session of ugly duckling to beautiful swan continued. And we're talking about ugly plants and how to bring them back to beautiful plants. Inevitably, I'm sure you have experienced your plant not looking so good and you're wondering why and if there's anything that you can do to bring it back to life. We get a lot of those questions, a lot of those emails. You're not alone. We all go through it, even at a plant shop. So I've got some examples to show you today. I really want to talk about overwatering in this session. And so I've got some really good examples of plants that have been overwatered and what we can do to try to either bring them back or salvage them in some way or another. So the first example I want to show you is a Transcantia Nanook. This is a beautiful and very popular plant at the moment. It has gorgeous foliage. I love how the foliage looks underneath when the light hits it. It has this really nice shimmer to it. But this beauty got overwatered. It happens. And as you can see down in here, it's kind of mushy and rotted and just not looking, it's not living its best life. So what are we gonna do? There's really not much we can do with this root ball. Once you rot a plant from its core, basically it's drowned. So unfortunately, you really can't bring this root ball back unless you're a magician or a sorceress. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take a cutting, which was already taken before we started the video, but we can also take one from this guy that's also not looking great. I'm a little picky, so this is still a nice looking plant, but to me it doesn't look the way that it should for Tula's shop floor. So I'm going to take a cutting from this and see if we can bring it back and plant a whole new plant. So for this guy, we've already taken this cutting off, and you see this was the base of the cutting. It's brown and rotted. That's overwatered. But we took this beautiful healthy cutting. There's no brown there, I promise you. It's nice and firm, and you've got a chance. So you never know, but this cutting we'll put inside of water, just like this. Water obviously needs to touch the stem, and we'll wait and see if roots push out. Again, you never know if bacteria has reached farther up than what you can see, but all you can do is try your best. So we'll leave that in water for a few weeks time and see if we get any roots. And if we do, when you start to see a healthy established root, then you can take it out of the water and introduce it into soil. So to show you what we did prior is that basically we took a cutting, and if you watch the propagation class plant sessions, I talk a bunch about propagation. This is basically propagation. So a way that you can save a dying plant is propagating it. So we just took a cutting. You always need at least 2 nodes. This we only have 1, so we'll see. Listen, you gotta try it all. And we'll put it in with this guy. We'll fill up the water. It makes for a beautiful arrangement for the time being. And let's see if roots push out. Only time will tell. When you're doing cuttings and you're looking to push out roots, make sure that you're changing your water weekly. It's not in like a really scalding, windowsill where it's just getting beaten with sun and heat. But make sure that it is getting some nice sun and heat and airflow. It's so important. So that's the Tradescantia. Let's move on to a succulent that was overwatered. This little guy. This is a Crosula, a variegated Crosula. We've actually been experiencing a lot of this lately, and I reached out to the grower who grows these guys, and he said keep them dry. Our mistake. See, it happens still to plant shops. We just overwatered. We overloved. These guys need to really be kept dry, and basically what happened is they just started melting. literally like just like everything just falling off. Ah! So that's what happened to this Crosula. Now, I don't know if this core is completely rotted. What I do know is that it's not healthy, and this soil that it's sitting in right now is super wet. So it's not gonna get any better, it's only gonna get worse because it still has a bunch of moisture in its root ball, and it's already showing me signs of overwatered and falling. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna try to salvage what is left before it continues to travel up the core of the stem. So what I'd like to see is what this stem looks like. And it looks kind of rotted, but it still has some resistance to it. So it still feels kind of firm. Like you can tell in a stem that it's still kind of firm. It's not just like popping off or bending, which is a sign that it's full of water, or that it's just dried up. So this guy already, we're gonna propagate. So if you watch my propagation video, you'll know that I'm gonna wait for this stem piece to callus, and then once it's callus, I'm gonna just stick it right back into dirt. I'm not gonna water it. I'm gonna let it fight for moisture. I'm gonna let it push out roots. What we can do a few things with this guy that's left over. We can take a chance with this root ball. We can try to get, you know, some of this wet soil off of the root ball. This is obviously gonna shock the plant a lot because I'm messing with its root ball now. It's overwatered, I'm messing with its root ball, it's gonna be totally freaked out. But just to try to get rid of some of this moisture. And we can put it back in its original pot. Don't add any new soil, wait for this old soil to dry out a little bit, and then add some soil to it. We could also, if you could fit it, you could also fit it into a smaller pot so it's tighter and there's less soil, which is moisture in this case. So we could do that. That's one thing that we could do. Then the second thing that we can do is we can take another stem cutting. So let's just do it. We'll leave one stem, we'll see how it lives, and we'll take another stem cutting. So I just took another stem, which is basically the same as this. I'm gonna let this piece callus, and then I'm going to stick it into dirt. Once it's calloused, it'll look just basically like a dried brown scab, and I'm gonna put it right into dirt. I'm gonna use like a small 3-inch terracotta pot. This 4-inch is gonna be way too big for these guys now. You want something really small, and I want really gritty soil because I don't want any moisture to sit on these stems and rot them before they can push roots out, and I won't water. So these we'll put to the side. The third thing that you can do, and this takes a lot longer, is you could take leaf cuttings. So again, not to keep referring back to the propagation video, but if you watch the propagation video, you'll see that I talk about leaf cuttings being a method of propagation as well as stem cuttings. So these guys will push out little baby plants from the leaves, but this is a much longer process, and that's a whole another thing that you can do. Watch the video, it's all in there, everything that you need to know. So those are the 3 ways that we could try to save this overwatered Crosula. It is stem cuttings, leaf cuttings, kicking off some of the moisture of the main root ball, and stop watering it. How about that one? So there we go. 2 overwatered plants, 2 very different plants, a tropical and a succulent, but you know that you can propagate both of them, and that's a way that you can try to salvage what you have grown to love so much. So that is that. That's gonna be our overwatered video, and taking your ugly duckling and into a beautiful swan. So hopefully we can make a beautiful swan out of these cuttings and bring that baby back. Thank you so much for tuning in. Any additional questions, feel free to reach out to us at care@tula.house. My name is Kristen, and thank you for caring so much about your plants to listen to me talk about them. Okay, see ya, bye.